Out of all the ideas that you have, what do you need to do first? Like, what do you need to prioritize in order to grow your business the fastest? That's what I'm gonna go into in today's episode. My name is Wilco the Kreij. I'm the founder of UpViral and Connectio. And just like you, I've got a ton of ideas what I can work on. I mean, there's opportunity left and right. There's so much stuff we can work on. And sometimes it can be overwhelming, right? There's just too much stuff. So that's why over time we had to develop a system, a way to actually, first of all, stay sane, but secondly, like be able to pick the best things so that we actually grow faster. Because sometimes there's just a lot of things that you can work on, but it's not always the best decision. So let me just grab the whiteboard and we'll dive in. So in order to grow your business faster, it's usually not about what to do, but most importantly, actually, it's what not to do. That's usually just as important, because these days, opportunities are everywhere, like I just mentioned, and it's really, really important to just decide, what's going to have the biggest impact. So the first thing you always need to do is just make a list of all the ideas that you have, big or small. Write them all down, collect it with other people if you have a team, but get clear on, what are all the ideas that you have in your business to grow? And obviously this assumes that you know your, I would say, North Star, your actual number one thing that you want to optimize for in your business. Like, what's the thing that you want to achieve in your business? If you don't know that, how are you going to prioritize, right? So let's say for example, MRR, you want to optimize monthly recurring revenue, right? So that is your North Star. Like, you want to optimize how much recurring revenue you have in your business. So now you know what to optimize for. And then you got all these different things, right? All these different ideas. Now, what I always do is for every one of those ideas, I give it a score for like, what's the input and what is the output? And this is, do I know exactly what the input and output is going to be? No, of course not. It's a guess. It's an estimate, right? But I'm just going to think like, hey, this idea, it's a cool idea, but it's going to take like 2 months of creations, 2 months of work. And that's a lot of work. And what's the output? It's not that bad. Well, maybe this idea we can actually execute in a day. And the output is actually, it's going to have an impact long term. So good output, right? So I get a high score for output. So based on that, you'll quickly start to see like what are the quick wins, the low hanging fruit that you can actually go for, and what are like the things that have a high input, a low output, like put that in the bottom of the list, right? So after a while, after you've been doing that and you're brainstorming about it and you're spending time on it, which is really, really important. Don't just do this in like 30 minutes and you're done. This is like, thinking is important in your business, right? Like, I spend at least a day a week, probably, or at least 3/4 of a day thinking every single week, because that is what's most important. Like, do the right things instead of doing the wrong things, right? So once you have an idea like what is going to be your highest priority, or like what could be your highest priority, then still it doesn't mean you start to work, because usually a lot of these ideas, they're interlinked, right? It's like, you can do this one first or then that, but sometimes it just doesn't make much sense to do it in the wrong order. I'll give you a practical example. For example, in my business, we've got a ton of ideas. One of the ideas is to create new funnels that convert really well, right? So places where we can send traffic into, which is, for example, an opt-in form or some kind of a webinar, and then people throughout that funnel, they will buy one of our products, ideally, right? That's one of the ideas, like creating new funnels in our business, to get new people into our world. Another idea that we have is to to improve our affiliate program. We've always had an affiliate program where people can promote us, they will get a commission. So 2 ideas are like creating new funnels, right? Improving our affiliate program, right? And both of these things are definitely worth it. Like, there's a lot of potential in that. There's a lot of output, even though there's also quite a bit of input, but there's a lot of output if we do that right. So if we were to do our affiliate program first, it would not make sense, right? It would just simply not make sense, because affiliates want to get the highest conversions, right? So if we first of all optimize creating new high converting funnels, and we use other sources of ads, our own email list, our Facebook ads, like things like that, but we create a high converting funnel, and only once that's ready, then we open up the affiliate program, right? It's like, hey, we got this amazing high converting funnel, you go and promote it now, right? So those 2 things, even though they're not related, it just makes sense to do them in a certain order, right? And that's why it's so important to look at your list and really map out like what is best in what order. And one last thing that I really want you to address it. Like once you have all the list and once you prioritize based on input and output and once you have a sense of in what order, then the next thing is don't be too optimistic about what you can do. Usually we just put everything like, oh, I got these amazing ideas. This month we're going to do all these things, which is obviously not realistic at all. Like in our business, we've got like, we're like 30 people, and take a guess how many new projects we take on a quarter, right? You probably think like a lot. No, actually every quarter, 3 months, we only take a couple of projects on, like literally like 2 or 3 new big things, right? That's it, right? That is it. And you might think, like, well, that's not a lot. No, but if we need to put all our time and effort into it, we need to do it really, really well. And realistically, it's things that you know, it just takes a lot of time. I'd much rather do the right things really well than a lot of things not very well, right? So this also stresses out how important it is to do this planning, right? Because now it's not just something that you're going to do next week, but it's also like I'm not like, this is what we're going to do this quarter. And that's all we're going to do. We're going to do it as best as we can. So you need to plan ahead and really think hard. What is it really that you want to achieve? And what is really the best thing you can do? Because sometimes there is things that are going to help you. I don't know. For example, when I was starting out, it was worth it for me to write a blog post, right? And get the blog out. People were liking it. People were seeing the brand, and people would maybe over time become a customer, right? So writing a blog had an output, right? But right now, the cost for me to write that is higher than the actual potential outcome. So what I'm saying is that over time, things that make sense right now to do, maybe in a while it doesn't make sense. You just need to scratch that. You need to go for things with a higher reward, a higher output. And that is why it's so important to spend time thinking on all this instead of just doing whatever you do. So I hope this helps you in setting your priorities and deciding what not to do. So in short, brainstorm everything, make sure all the ideas that you have to grow your business, prioritize based on input and output to clearly see the ones that you should not do, the ones that you should do, and then ask yourself for any of those, in what order does it make most sense in order to hit my North Star, my actual goal? And while doing that, only plan a few. Don't take on everything, finish some, then start the next one. So I hope this helps, and I'll see you in the next video.